Hey guys, so I wanted to show you guys how I made my Hellboy devil girlfriend. I started off by creating my horns, my black devil horns, and I started that by using just basic kitchen foil, and I kind of built that into the shape that I wanted to, and I kept just building up in that shape. So it's basically just all foil. And I'm wrapping it around, and I kind of go a little bit thinner at the tip, so it's more of a sharp tip, like a horn. And I'm cutting and trimming till I get it how I like. And I wanted them to be matching, so I had to make sure that I kept wrapping the foils on both till they're matching in size. And I was happy. And they're basically the same. So I started wrapping that in just black electric tape. Just I like the texture and the way that it makes it look. And that's all it was. It was super easy, super simple. And I just wrapped all the way around. Okay. And I did glue my horns onto my life cast so that they didn't move. And once those were glued on, I kind of just built my latex around to create the shape that I wanted for my horns to stick on. And I'm using just basic latex and flour, and I mix those together until I got kind of the texture that I wanted. And now I'm building and creating up those horns. I'm doing it on my live cast because it's a perfect match of my face. That way it's going to blend easy. If you don't have a live cast of your own face, there's other products or other things that you can use. This was just easier for me. And I'm building up, and as I'm building up, I'm dipping my finger in just plain latex so that I have a smooth surface to work off of. And it makes it a lot easier and it makes it a lot smoother. And I'm sorry about my lighting, it's not that great. I'm using my spatula to just move around the product and kind of built it around my horns. That way it looks like my horns were coming out of my head instead of just placed like on top. And there you go, see me mixing some more latex and flour. Mix, 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 mix. And you want that to be completely mixed through. And I am building up some more. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fast forward through this part for you guys, okay? Alright guys, I am back. Um, as you guys can tell, I got kind of close to the edges now, so I have my finger dipped completely in latex, and I'm smoothing out any lumps or bumps that I have, making any imperfections better. I did do some pretty thin edges when my fingers dipped in latex. I kind of go down the live cast a little bit, and I keep it thin so that way when I do take it off and I'm ready to apply it, I can blend it easier into my skin and not have any harsh edges, so it looks a little bit more realistic, like it's me and not something fake. Right now, I'm just kind of working with the shape of my latex, kind of wrapping it around my horns a little bit more on the top, kind of just smoothing out the edges more. Like I said, I'm working with the time that I have because you kind of have to hurry up with the latex before it starts getting into this weird dry stage. So you have a little bit of time to mold that into the shape that you like, which I'm doing, molding it around the ears, I mean the horns, the ears, the horns. And yeah, guys, I did want to give a shout out to Ellie MFX. She's the person who I did get this tutorial off of. Her tutorials are absolutely amazing. If you guys want to check her out. And I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this again for you guys. Hey guys, so I am back. So these little things right here are my little devil horns that I made out of sponges and latex. All I did for those little things was I cut them into the horns that I wanted and I dipped them all into latex. I'm sorry I didn't show that, but now I'm moving on and I'm placing powder all over my dried product. And this did take a day or two to dry. I didn't use a blow dryer to speed up the process. I let it just sit and dry on its own. And I am using powder to take that off. And you want to be extremely careful with your edges using powder because if you don't powder those as you go, your edges will get stuck together and you will have absolutely no edges to blend into your skin. So be careful, take your time, use lots of powder. And now I am moving on to my eyebrows. And my same thing, I'm using latex and flour, and I am building that up on my eyebrows. And I'm building the shape that I want. Kind of did some deep looking eyebrows. I wanted a lot of depth. So I'm placing that on, building up and building up. And I dip my finger in just plain latex again. Now my spatula is dipped in just plain latex, and I'm using that to just flatten everything out, make it smoother, take out all the lumps and imperfections. And of course, I am making my edges as I go. You want those super thin edges, as you can tell. I try to just blend that into my life cast. And I'm working. Okay, guys, so I'm doing the cheekbone prosthetics now, and I am doing the same thing that I did with everything else. I'm just using my same mixture, and I'm applying that onto the cheekbone area of my life cast, and I'm kind of like sculpting that into the way that I want as well. I kind of wanted some like deep pocketed cheekbones so that they looked more like risen and deep. So I'll go ahead and fast forward through that so you guys can see that. And for your cheekbones as well, don't forget to make those super thin edges. So you want to go a little bit thinner on the edges with your liquid latex so you can get a clean cut at the end. That's what I'm doing, kind of smoothing it out, making all the imperfections a little bit more perfect. I love how you can see the mask kind of coming together on the live cast. It looks pretty cool. So these are those little horns or spikes that we made earlier in the video from sponges and liquid latex. So I did have a black liquid latex that I used to cover them, but I didn't have a lot. So I think I had to go back in and color them with alcohol. But that is black liquid latex that covered the sponges, which was pretty cool. Saved me some time. And I thought, again, it was really cool. So I took those spikes and I kind of stuck them into the forehead and the cheekbone prosthetic piece before they dried. That way they can kind of dry inside. and get like a better hold instead of them like falling out or looking funny. And I'm going back in with my liquid latex and flour little mixture, and I'm kind of building around the horns. So instead of them being placed on top, they're kind of pushed in and built around, so they look like they're coming more out of the skin, which I think is a little bit better. There she is, and making some thin edges. What do you guys think? I think she looks pretty cool. And this is the devil horn top, the horns that we made. So this is her all dry. She is no more white. She is completely dry with the latex. We're ready to remove her from the live cast and apply. To remove her, you can use colorless powder from Benai, which is a usually thing that I use, but I did start using baby powder as a cheap alternative that I found was just as of as effective and extremely cheap, and the bottle lasts me a long time. So I am using baby powder to remove her, and my teacher always told me if you think you have enough powder, put more powder. So make sure you always have a lot of powder is what I learned. Hey guys, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the tutorial now. So exciting. We're gonna go ahead and apply that bald cap on. We're gonna lay that hair back. Now, if you want it to be perfect laid back, there are things that you can do to make that perfect, but I'm not in a perfect kind of mood. Been working on this project for a while, so I just threw that hair back in a ponytail, and I'm using the bald cap that I make. I do make my bald caps handmade. I make them all myself. I don't purchase any. They are quite expensive. And I'm trying to open my liquid latex, which always gets glued shut, no matter what I do. And I'm sorry, my liquid Prozaid. I totally messed that up. But that is my liquid Prozaid that gets glued shut all the time. And I'm applying Prozaid underneath my bald cap. Stay away from those baby hairs and eyebrow hairs unless you want a good wax. I did decide to apply a little bit of spirit gum onto my eyebrows. Gluing around my eyebrows is always really scary, so I just go ahead most of the time and use a little bit of spirit gum to lay them down, and that way they are covered and protected by the spirit gum. I don't apply any Prozaid on top of that, I just leave the spirit gum. It does make me feel a little bit safer just knowing that the spirit gum is covering my eyebrows. But that's all I did was just I used Prozaid and Spirit Gum. Right now I'm just trying to lay those edges down. And then we're gonna go ahead and burn the edges off by using some alcohol. And you guys are gonna see that in a second. Well, hello, I'm back. It looks like I was gone for a while. No, I'm totally kidding. So I am cutting a little bit of the excess bald cap off. That way it's a little bit easier to burn the edges off with the alcohol. Or melt the edges off. It's not like I'm burning my face. I'm not burning my face off. I'm melting the edges with a little bit of alcohol. But I'm cutting those edges first, trying to get it close to my skin as possible. I did switch from 3 different scissors because I just wasn't happy with how I was performing on myself today or that day. And now this is where I'm going in with my very fine thin brush with my 99% alcohol. You don't want it to be a big brush, just very thin. You don't want it to hold a lot of alcohol. You don't want the brush to be extremely wet with alcohol. So you want to be very careful when you're melting those edges off. I do melt my edges off, and then I go back and I apply a little bit of Prozac back on top of the edges, just to extra secure that bald cap on and make those edges extremely thin and close to the skin as possible. So if you can see, that's what I'm doing. Slowly, slowly, you're gonna see it melt away into the head. And now I'm going to go ahead and stipple some Prozac and acrylic paint. And I glued on my horns. I was very happy. Glued on those horns using some Prozac, the magic of all glue. You can make it an extra hold or an extra tough bond by doing a couple of things, but I wasn't looking for a really tough bond on this because I literally took it right off. So I just applied a little bit of Prozac just to have her stick on, and then I went back in and I glued all those edges down, baby. I gotta say, I was feeling quite Maleficent-y. I really did like this look a lot. It did take me quite some time, but in the end result, I was very happy about how my hard work and dedication kind of pulled off. It was really fun actually to make this look. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. My God, who knew that gluing down horns would take so long and so much Prozac? But I think that she just kept lifting up a little bit because it was heavy, so I just wanted to make sure that those edges were down, no visible edges. And now I'm going ahead and applying that brow piece that we made extra with the little devil horns we stuck in. I'm applying that on top of the devil horns prosthetic piece, and I'm blending that in together. And if you can tell now, it looks like it's one big prosthetic piece, but it was actually two pieces, two separate pieces that I did make. So it's starting to look really cool. Gluing all those little edges down. We don't want anything popping up or coming off. She's looking very astonishing. I like it a lot. And now we're going into those cheekbones. And I did make two cheekbones off camera. I know I was only showing one when I did make. I did make two though. And there they are. And I'm just making sure that they're even, a little bit symmetrical instead of one higher and one lower. So I did make those symmetrical as possible. Now I'm going in with my rubber mask grease paint, and I'm going to go ahead and paint the prosthetic pieces and my face. So this is a safe paint to use. Okay, so I sped through that for you guys. It's basically just a bottom red base. I am now using a Ben Nye cream paint palette, and I'm using yellow to color around my eye socket. I'm just filling that in top and bottom all around my eye space that I basically left bare with no red. So I'm basically now using that yellow to highlight any negative space that was left open from red. And I'm kind of just doing that to add a little bit more dimension and texture so it's just not a flat bare red. And I'm doing that all over my face, around my horns, on top of my head. And now I'm actually applying NYX glitter glue because I'm going to be adding glitter. And as that glitter glue is drying, I'm now going into that Ben Nye cream paint palette again, and I'm doing more of a darker red, and I'm going in and shadowing some spaces as well. I'm shadowing underneath my brows to make them look more popped out, a little more three-dimensional, more texture, and just non-flat. So I'm going around everywhere and shadowing, and you can really see it pop together now. There's that Ben Nye cream palette that I've been using. And now I'm going in with that glitter that I said I was going to be applying. And I am using the Buggles Pro Palette gold glitter. I really like it a lot. I like the Ben Nye gold glitters as well. And I'm just applying it, making it kind of look like some beautiful glitter tears coming out of her. I am now taking that black from that palette onto a ripped white beauty sponge, and I'm kind of stippling that all over my head again, making it look like there's more texture instead of just a flat basic red. And I'm just adding some more colors, shadowing, shadow my nose, shadow underneath my chin, underneath my cheekbones, all over my head. And like I said, you can really see it just starting to pop a lot more. I like it a lot more. And all over down my neck as well. Kind of creating some shadowing on my neck or my body. I'm now using my NYX Black Primal color, I believe it is. And I'm going in and I'm shadowing my eyelids. And there she is right there. And I actually like the way that this made the eyes just pop even more on top of the yellow. A lot more depth, which I really liked a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and apply my eyelashes. I believe I did do this on screen, but it took me a while. Those are the Tati lashes that I did use. I absolutely love Tati lashes. They're so beautiful. And now I'm using Wet n Wild Wicked lipstick, I think it's called, and it's in black. A black lipstick, which I absolutely love. And she's just coming together so much now, and I'm just so happy with the way she came out. This was probably one of the funnest looks that I worked on, or projects that I worked on. It did take me a couple of days to make the prosthetic pieces, and I think that was probably like the funnest part, watching everything come together. There she is, she's all finished, and I'm just dressing her up a little bit for a costume. I gotta really get my costumes down. I'll be working on that, guys, I promise. But thanks for watching, guys.